US Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump admits he is a whiner and says he'll keep whining until he wins. In an interview with CNN a short time ago, Trump touched on a range of issues, including his controversial remarks about a female journalist. He touted his record in dealing with women, claiming if elected, he will take care of women like nobody else can.
No, I think Jeb Bush owes women an apology because he made a terrible statement about women's health issues, and it was a foolish statement and perhaps a stupid statement. It's a statement that should never have come up. It should never have been made, and I was shocked that he made it, and I think that will prove to be his 47%. When Romney did his famous 47%, a lot of people said his election's over. I think that when Jeb Bush made the statement on women's health issues that, you know, he wouldn't fund them, you wouldn't need the kind of money, they were talking about $500 billion, you wouldn't need that kind of money, when that actually, relatively speaking, is peanuts compared to the kind of money spent on lots of other things. I think that was a terrible mistake that he made, and I think he's the one that has to apologize to women. Now, I will say this, he has gone back. He said, I misspoke. He said, meaning not me, he said that he misspoke. Well, that's an awfully big issue to misspoke. I will be so good to women. I cherish women. I will be so good to women. I will work hard to protect women. And I'll tell you what, work hard to protect everybody.
Do you pay the women at the top of your organization the same way you pay the men?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
Because that's what it comes down to. Is not that everybody's equal. It's that you're equal when you deserve it.
Do you do that? Like I pay, in many cases, I pay the women more. I mean, I have women that get paid a lot of money, and I pay them more.
One campaign suggestion for you, you should show those numbers to people and let them see that women don't only make the same, they make more.
One of the things that I alluded to it, but one of the things I'm very proud of is, you know, I was one of the first, I think I was literally the first. I had a woman in charge of the construction of Trump Tower. And that was unheard of in the construction industry that many years ago. So I was, you know, I'm very proud of that fact. And I've gotten a lot of credit over the years. I've gotten a lot of credit, especially within the construction industry. You didn't have women in the construction industry at high levels. And I was, I think, the first to do it, in charge of major developments.
And so far, none of those controversies surrounding Donald Trump have derailed his campaign. So what's fueling his popularity? Let's bring in senior CNN political reporter Nia-Malika Henderson in Washington. Nia, time and time again, Donald Trump makes these outlandish comments and offends someone or offends a group of people. Give us a sense of why he is still so popular.
In many ways, Donald Trump is the anti-Obama, and there is a segment, a pretty big segment of the Republican Party that is so fed up with Obama, so fed up with what they see as sort of a passive approach to governing, a passive approach to the globe and foreign policy, that Donald Trump, with all of his frankness, his sort of alpha male posture, and this aggressiveness in terms of bluster and talk. In that interview, for instance, he talked about those sanctions against Iran and saying if he was dealing with Iran and the world balked at a plan for dealing with Iran, he would just tell people, tell nations what to do, and they would listen just because he's Donald Trump. So people are very much attracted to his personality. And in some ways, it is similar to Obama because if you go back to 2008, part of his appeal was his personality as well. He sort of campaigned as a uniter, as someone who could bridge the divide between red and blue and the different sides, because he had this kind of cosmopolitan, neither here nor there, an even-handed approach. For Donald Trump, it's in many ways just the opposite, but it does have that common strain of a sort of cult of personality that voters very much are attracted to, particularly Republican conservative voters, white working class Republican voters.
Nia, you just referenced the way Donald Trump said he would gain the respect of world leaders and he will tell them what to do and they will listen. Does that bullish kind of business-like manner work in government?
You know, that's the thing. He said it would. He said, listen, you know, this is what being a leader is all about, stating what you want to happen and seeing it through. And he even turned around that whole idea. There was a columnist who said, well, listen, Donald Trump is whining quite a bit about Megyn Kelly, about Fox News, about the way other folks are treating him. And he said, listen, I will turn whining, or I will whine so much that I will turn into a winner, and I will win these negotiations. There is some calls, I think, from Republicans to say, well, listen, what are your plans? And he said, well, listen, government doesn't really work that way. You might release a plan, but down the road, you would have to deal with the reality of negotiating and getting your plan through government. And of course, I think his argument is, listen, look at me. I was able to build the Trump Tower in this global brand machine, and that I could do the same with American government and the American economy and foreign policy. And for a lot of folks, it's very attractive. Some new polls out of Iowa, that first caucus state, shows that he's still in the lead. That a lot of the things that we've heard him say over these last days, post-debate and during the debate, have not hurt him. He's ahead about 18 percentage points. I think Scott Walker, the governor of Wisconsin, is in second place. So far, so good. Why stop now, I think, is Donald Trump's approach to this whole thing.
Yeah, people seem to like that straight-talking sort of manner.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nia-Malika Henderson.